Hey, beautiful souls. I hope you all are doing great and you had a nice festive season. And I hope that you enjoyed the festivities and celebrated Diwali and have had a good time with your family and friends. So, today, after 2 weeks, I have been guided to record something for you, and in the meanwhile my throat was also not up to the mark, and therefore I did not record anything. But here I am with a new message. As I opened The Universe Has Your Back today, I landed onto the page, and the message for today is: as long as you remain surrendered and committed to the highest good, everything you will need will be shown to you. Today's message is all about surrendering to the process. So, today, before recording the podcast, I actually waited for the right time and I tried to record the podcast in the daytime, but I couldn't. There was so much noise, and as I sat for the recording, I was just not able to put out the correct words to my thoughts. I waited till the midnight, and now, as I am recording, here is this beautiful candle that is lit up on my side, and the lights are really dim, and I am truly feeling surrendered. So, what exactly surrendering to the process means, and how it is going to lead you to your destination. So let me take you back to July of this year, when I received an amazing dream. So in July of this year, a beautiful dream came where I saw this beautiful ox, a big one, something that I had never seen before. So, as I woke up the next day, I started to research about it. And during my research, I found that the ox is usually visible in the Himalayan ranges of India. And then I thought, okay, it's just a dream. Why to pay so much attention to it? So I just left it. I just stopped thinking about it. And then, miraculously, the dream repeated itself again. So this time I thought, okay, so now the dream has been repeated twice. Let me just figure out what it exactly is. The next few days that passed after this dream sequence reappeared, my search for this ox intensified, and there were exactly two places where I was being guided to go. The first place was Ladakh in the Trans-Himalayan ranges. Now I had never ever been to Ladakh before, and even thinking about going there was bringing me chills, because as you know, there are very few women female travelers in India, and in fact in the entire world, who would actually go there all alone without the support of a group, or without being with their family or friends, etc. So going there all alone was a bit of a challenge. And then the second place towards which I was guided to was Manali, where the ox is found very commonly. So I started to look towards the flight bookings. Firstly, I made the flight booking to Manali, and then the very next day, the whole area was flooded. It was during the monsoons. If you remember this year, what happened in Himachal during the monsoons. So, therefore, I had to cancel my flight, and then I was redirected again towards Ladakh. I finally had a state of peace in my mind that, okay, now this is the place that I have to go. I still Now, note something here, that I still didn't have any idea of what I am going to be discovering actually in Ladakh. I had absolutely no idea. I just packed my bags and I left. Now, there was another hurdle that I faced at the airport. The morning of my flight got cancelled again. Yeah, my flight to Ladakh got cancelled, and I was taken aback. Now, I spent around 5 hours sitting at the airport thinking, why is the delay happening? And I discussed it with my friends, and they really supported me, and they said that you are being challenged to go there. Do not stop yourself. Book another flight and go. You have to go there. And it was such a deeply intense calling from within that I couldn't stop myself from going and boarding the next flight to Ladakh. So there I was, sitting in the plane. Finally, the flight took off, and finally, I landed onto the Trans Himalayan range. I finally reached Ladakh. Now, if you know something about Ladakh, Ladakh is a Buddhist place. It is heavily influenced by Chinese culture and by Indian culture, and the main religion that is of influence is Buddhism. You will find so many beautiful monasteries throughout Ladakh. You will find people who are doing their own meditative work, who are in a Zen state, and this is the influence of the Buddhist culture that is there. This was the second time in 2 years that I have been called to a place that has a Buddhist influence. Back in 2019 December, I was called to Thailand, where I again did the pilgrimage and visited the Buddhist temples and the monasteries. And then this year, 1.5 years later, in Ladakh. So now what I'm trying to convey here is nothing related to religion. What I am trying to convey here is the calling itself. As you know, that Lord Buddha is an ascended master who was enlightened, and then he spread his work throughout the world, especially in the Asian region. So this was a calling from the ascended master himself, and therefore I was not able to ignore the calling. So now what happens next is pretty amazing, and I think some of you are not going to be able to believe this because I understand from where you are coming from, and I also understand that you might not be having enough understanding of how your ascended masters lead you towards wisdom. I was in Ladakh, and I had already spent 3-4 days there. I visited a lot of places, visited the beautiful market, did a lot of shopping, had a really peaceful time all by myself at 11,000 feet above the sea level. It was a pretty challenging, adventurous, amazing experience. And just before returning, I had to visit the Shanti Stupa, where it is believed that the remains of Lord Buddha are buried inside the Shanti Stupa, and above that, the stupa is built. Just before I visited the Shanti Stupa, I entered into a state of nothingness, where your mind becomes completely rid of thoughts, any kind of thoughts. You neither have any good thoughts, you neither have any bad thoughts, you are just present. And that state lasted for almost a day, and because this was something that was happening to me for the very first time, I was not at all aware of what is going to happen on the other side of nothingness. what is going to happen when I emerge from this nothingness. So any which ways, I emerged from the nothingness, I came out of that state, and then I visited the Shanti Stupa. All went well. So I came back to Delhi, but then I didn't see the ox in Ladakh. I still had an inclination that I have to still go and find the ox. So I again booked another flight to Himalayas and went to Manali this time. So I went to Manali and I finally saw the ox. I also took a picture with the ox, and this time I really felt that my purpose was fulfilled, and I came back home in a very peaceful state of mind. But I still didn't quite get the reason why I was called to do this entire trip all by myself to a land so far off that I had never ever believed in the wildest of my dreams that I would go there all alone. Any which ways, 1 month passed, another month passed. Fast forward to October of this year. There was I sitting in my room, brainstorming the heck out of myself, thinking, what is to be done next? Why was I actually called there? What was the reason? So the string of events, they started to join themselves, and it eventually led me to starting the podcast, number 1, number 2, starting my new coaching program, and number 3, helping people for no money, for no charge, just helping them out very randomly. And before this, just let me tell you that before this, I was not having all this wisdom that I am sharing with you today. All these words that are coming out of my mouth right now were not there, were not given to me before I did this trip. My throat was absolutely clogged. I hadn't gone on stage for 2 years now. I haven't spoken in a public event for 2 years now, because of the fact that I had to speak those words to you, which could actually create a positive momentum in your life, and which could actually put you on the right path, put you on the path of your higher calling, of your purpose. So if you are listening, if you have listened to this entire story that I have just narrated, if you have come so far into the podcast with me, you are here for a reason. Just the way I was called to Ladakh, you have been called here. There is something that has pulled you here onto my podcast. There must be an inclination inside of you that you are going to receive some sort of knowledge from me. Now, after that day, I have felt my ascended master's presence many times. And whenever I feel the presence of God, I genuinely know that now I have to evolve to the next stage of my work. Now I have to create something that is more profound. And as you are listening to my words, let me assure you that because of the fact that you have chosen to listen to my words, you will only be guided towards your higher calling. There is no going back for you from here if you have chosen to be here on the podcast. You have decided somewhere inside of yourself that you want to grow, that you want to achieve something in your life, that you want to build something big in your life, that you do not want to be in the hustle culture, in the rat race anymore, that you are here for a bigger, greater purpose. Now, if you are going to think that I am charging from you, so how am I helping you? Well, that is why I am also creating a podcast that is absolutely free for you to hear, so that you can evolve with the help of this podcast, with the help of my words, so that you can listen to my words and you can go and do a deep dive into your soul so that you can start thinking about the more meaningful things in your life, so that you start thinking about your purpose for being here on earth. Now, since this is a very, very initial stage of me doing the podcasting and also me doing the coaching work, please do not forget that I already have a 10 plus year of experience now as an industry expert. I have worked with world renowned clients. I have worked with so many people who are on the topmost ladder of the corporate structure. So please keep in mind that you are not only listening to an expert in the field, you are also listening to someone who is having an equal amount of wisdom. Understand, I have just started podcasting, but the inner work that I have done has taken me a very, very long and harsh and tough road to finally be here and share the knowledge with you. So please do not think that if I am helping you build your business or your brand, or if I am sharing some knowledge with you, it is all bogus. You are being given an opportunity to grow with my help. Of course, you can go and take somebody's help out there. There are so many people. But if you have known me, this is like a bonus point for you to be working with me. On the 20th of this month, I will be opening the Phoenix Rising coaching program again, and I only keep that open for 10 days so that for the rest of the month I can work with you, I can guide you, I can support you, and I can help you build your purpose-based business. That's what we are doing here. What if you have your purpose-based business running and flowing and bringing you money by the end of this year? As we close this year, we still have 1.5 months left for 2022 to begin. This is your opportunity, especially with the way the global resignation is going and so many people are leaving their jobs. This is your time to create something for yourself. 2022 is a great year for you to walk into your purpose. It is not only you that is going to be doing that, because so many other people are going to be doing that. You will be seeing a lot of people leaving their jobs actually now, and you will be seeing many of them completely changing the trajectory of their career and doing the things that they have always wanted to do. So this is the time for you, my friend, to just step into your purpose and build something out of it. Create your legacy. Start creating things that can sustain in the long term. With the way the things are going, it is very important for you to think for your long term. So I think that was all for today. And once again, your girl went to Ladakh, 11,000 feet, to get the wisdom for you and to serve you with the knowledge. So don't take it for granted. Don't take this opportunity for granted. I will be back soon with another podcast, and wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.